Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chase. So, coming at you with this video, I've been seeing a good deal of confusion in the comments and the DMs. People are asking, have we topped? Is this a bear market rally? Are we going new all-time highs? Of course, that's crazy. But just in general, I feel like people are confused, and really the landscape right now is not that difficult to understand, in my opinion. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at ES, okay? If you don't know what ES is, you can go back to the Everything About ES video. ES is our S&P 500, and this is basically our macro, what I'm always looking at in terms of, just macro price action, and when the markets are going to top, when we're looking for, I'm not much of a swing trader, but if I was, to where I'd be looking for swing positions, or where I'd be looking for, maybe like 3 to 6 month out options, right? If I was playing puts, if I'm looking basically to, puts are basically being short on the market essentially. Okay, so again, a lot of people are making a lot more of this than it is, in my opinion, and I'll explain why. If we're, just looking at the ES chart here, and where do we start? We start on the daily, we know that. And we're on the daily, and what do we see over here? We see 1 high, 2 high, 3 highs, and these highs were never tapped. Liquidity is above these highs, and what is liquidity? Well, go back to the daily time frame and liquidity video. That'll help you with that, but we'll briefly explain it here as well. So when we go above these highs, what's going to happen? Well, in my opinion, there's a lot of people who are probably short, and they have their stops right above these highs. Okay, it's just a generic thing to do when you're more, and keep in mind how many people have recently started trading over the past 2 years since, COVID and whatnot, and the markets really became, AMC and GME and all that stuff, and crypto in general, and Doge and SHIB and all this stuff. All this stuff was mainstream, guys, and a lot of people really started trading. I'm sure you guys saw it in your, lives too, or, the people close to you. Tons of my friends started trading. Most of them lost money, but some of them still dabble. And when you're not an experienced trader, you look at this and you think, okay, major resistance here. Let me just put my, if I wanted to short this, I'll put my stop above here. Okay, that should be safe, because this sent price down, it sent it down again, it sent it down again. We're not going back above here. But actually, the exact opposite is true, and here's the reason why. Okay, sip of water. You need to think about this in terms of, who really moves the market. A lot of people are going to have a lot of different theories and whatnot, but in my opinion, you're going to have your buyers and your sellers, and you're going to have, your multi-billion-dollar players who really, to a degree control what happens, because let's pretend you have a multi-billion-dollar seller in here, and they're getting hundreds of millions of sell orders filled. Well, in my opinion, that's going to create a resistance, and we're probably going to go down and put their position in profit. Okay, so just looking at this chart, this red line I have right here is FOMC, the next FOMC. It's on September 20th, I believe. So we have liquidity above here. We have the stops of shorts above here. Okay, so anyone who's shorted has their stops above here. And what else will we get above here? Well, I also think above here we'll get breakout buyers. People will think, oh, this is going higher. New all-time highs are coming. I'm buying the breakout. All right. And while all this is happening, this is all a perfect combination of orders coming in to fill that multi-billion-dollar sell order, right? So that person, or that entity, or that organization, or whatever you want to say, fund, they're going to put all their sell orders in here. The stops of the shorts are going to get triggered. Okay, they're starting to get filled. People are buying breakout above here. They're buying the breakout. Okay, the stops there, the shorts are getting filled, right? Or asks, as I said in the last video, but I think I'm going to stick with shorts this time. You guys know why. And then what else is happening? Well, you're getting people who are going short as well. So let's say, I consider myself, I'm going to put this in quotes, like a smart money, right? And I try to follow where I think the big players are going to transact. Well, let's say price comes up just for a second and I short it. Okay, I'm short, goes back down. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the best. I shorted right where I knew it was going to go. I shorted and I put my stop here. And the next couple days, I'm like, oh, this is going. I nailed the top perfectly. Maybe I even short a little bit more. I wouldn't do that, but some people will. And then you know what's going to happen? Boom, it's going to pop right up. It's going to stop me out. And guess who's still getting those fills? That $1 billion player. So they're still getting their fills. They're filling more shorts. They might be filling shorts for days, maybe even a week, maybe even 2 weeks. Take a look at this. You thought that this was a bullish break in market structure. That's what a lot of people thought. I would have even considered it a bullish break in market structure. But look at what happened. So we had a low. We had a lower high. We had a lower low. And then we printed a higher high compared to here, right? Bullish break in market structure. But some entity used this as an area to fill shorts. How do I know that? Well, I'm just saying, I'm just using common sense, because look at the move that came afterwards. Some monstrous down move. Someone profited big off of this. So I'm looking for this same type of price action in here. And it could go on for a while, right? Now we could dip and everyone's going to say, oh, top is in. And don't get me wrong, this stuff is very tradable, right? Okay, I'm not much of a macro or a swing trader. You guys know this. I'm more about lower time frames. So I will certainly be trying to capitalize on any moves into here, right? I'm trying to capitalize. I'm trying to short on that. I'm trying to long it back up. Either way. But what I'm saying is that for all the people talking about bear market rally and talking about have we topped, are we going to new all-time highs, I believe your answer lies in this area. Okay? If we absolutely plow through this area, and I highly doubt it, if we absolutely plow through there and we flip this to support, I would have to say that, I'll be in disbelief, to be honest. I will be in disbelief, and then I'll be looking towards like this high right here for next liquidity. And then I'd consider maybe this is our top. But I don't even need to think about that yet, because I think the probability of that is very low, and it wouldn't really make sense to me, because I think, like I said, I think a big player and big players in general are going to be watching this area. And as we push into here and people short and then they get stopped out and shorts are getting stopped out, retail's buying for the breakout, one final stop run, and I think we come down either into FOMC or maybe the final push is at FOMC. Either way. And this is where I'll really be looking for it'll be hard to time a perfect short in there, to be honest, so I'll probably be looking for an options play in here, most likely utilizing SPY puts. SPY is just basically the, for options at least, the poor man's version of S&P, right? But the price action is exactly the same, okay? So you see here, you got your triple top highs right here. It's going to be the same thing, it's just for options. That's more of my what my portfolio will allow me to do. Okay, so I'll be watching for SPY puts, and maybe I'll also be watching for ES shorts in general. That can happen as well, but depends how clean it is, right? If you're getting some type of a big chop like this, I'll probably just wait for a big green candle up day, somewhere in here or something, somewhere halfway between or towards the top, and I'll say, okay, this is my time. I get some SPY puts in, and I'll go from there. And that would be my place where I would say, okay, this is the end of the bear market rally. This is the local top for at least the coming months. And that is my thought process, okay? So hopefully that makes sense in terms of all the people. And this, guys, this applies to Bitcoin too, right? I understand, Bitcoin has a big gap to fill here potentially, and it could possibly fill this gap as ES is working into here. Okay, that's very possible, right? So let's just clear this off real quick. We have daily support before we break down, right? Make this red as resistance. Daily support, breakdown. You also have your level from over here. Decent confluence there. I know this low is different on different charts, but we really just use this. Support, breakdown, okay? And we're slowly filling this void, but we recently ran liquidity right here. I know I was talking in a tweet yesterday about 12-hour time frame and potentially being bullish off that. but we have to keep in mind that, in my opinion, typically liquidity is going to be your number one driver of markets. So I saw this 12-hour close above, and I said, well, is this really an impactful close? Is this a meaningful close? In my opinion, it wasn't. We didn't see any type of big impulse move through. Really, we just saw a close that was, barely, the close was 1%, 1.6% over the level. To me, that's not very impactful. And we also did not close above the liquidity level. Instead, we ran liquidity and came back down. Okay? But point being, I don't want to get into BTC just yet, but I wanted to, show that, hey, BTC could easily come back down into here. I mean, I wouldn't want to see it back down into here, honestly, but I think it could come back down into here. Basically your impulse move up here, bounce off of this, let's say 23.3-ish, and then it could go up towards your 26.5. And that would have confluence when over here looking at ES, if ES was to do a retracement, take out all these lows into basically like your daily SR level in here. Sorry, my lines are shit. And it pushes up into this area, and that's when BTC would be getting up into this area around the same time. And then that would be perfect for a macro top, just overall, for at least the next few months. I'm trying to figure out how I want to utilize these words, because when people say macro, some people are talking about years. Basically, when I say macro, I'm just talking about the next couple months out. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that, but that's just how I see it. Macro swing, it's a couple months out, over the next couple months, 6 months, whatever. All right, 1 second. So hopefully that is very helpful in terms of, when our market's topping. At least in my eyes, I cannot put a top on risk assets. I cannot put a top in on risk assets. Jesus, can I talk? Until we interact and transact in this level. Okay? Hopefully that is helpful. Alright, and it's about that time in the stream where I let you guys know that these videos are sponsored by Prime XBT. If you sign up and deposit, you support these streams, and it will keep these education coming, 1 video a week. Okay, my links are at the bottom. If you are at all confused about utilizing the platform, go to the Everything About ES video, and I show you exactly how to sign up, where to put in the promo code, all that stuff. Your support is greatly appreciated, and is basically the thing that keeps these videos coming, right? Alrighty, so let's just keep on moving. So what do I am thinking about in short term? Shorter term price action. Well, for ES, really, I'm just taking it day by day, right? And I'm just waiting for this level to be ran. We know that. If we were to come down and sweep all these lows, we would watch in here, basically origin of impulse. Origin of impulse up here. This could push us into here. Of course, all these things are a bit far out at the moment. We could simply just flip this support, or we could take out this low. There's probably some liquidity below here. Boom, a little something like this, and then we continue to go up, okay? So on ES, I haven't been paying actually a ton of attention to it lately when it comes to the lower time frame. And I'll be probably getting back into the rhythm now that we saw this impulse move, right? A lot of people don't really have a good concept of when they should be trading and when they shouldn't be trading. And what I was seeing was a lot of inside bars on the daily, and basically just a lot of consolidation and not much movement. So I haven't been paying much attention to ES during this time. Now, why am I paying attention all of a sudden? Well, look at this big impulse candle. Look at this candle. We're getting movement again. Okay, so now I probably turn my low time frame ES trading brain back on, so to say. Okay, simple as that, guys. When you're getting a lot of chop and a lot of consolidation, if you're not very experienced, you're going to get ripped up in here. Also, because my sleep schedule is shit, so I haven't gotten to, and I'm going to be fixing it within the next probably month or two. Be working on that. But when you're seeing this type of chop and just heavy consolidation, it's probably not the best place to trade if you're not very experienced. And again, we look at this and now we can say, okay, well, we have this origin of impulse up right here. This is the price action that led to this move up. Well, if we get a push down into here, we can probably look for some type of a long position. And of course, go over to the entry techniques video or go over back to market structure videos, or there's a lot of different techniques to find an entry. We usually typically don't just blind bid or blind short on levels. Every now and then we do, but mostly you want to have some type of an entry technique to get you into these positions to where you're going to have an entry, a stop loss that actually has invalidation and makes sense, and a target that is either based off of a major SR level or a liquidity level, etc., etc. Okay, now let's move over to Bitcoin. So looking at Bitcoin, we have a big gap here to fill. Again, as ES moves towards here, I could see BTC moving towards here. That's something I've been saying. Okay, as we move down onto lower time frames on Bitcoin, let's move into the 4-hour. Whoops, still got my tool on. What I could see on Bitcoin is potentially something along these lines at the moment. In order to get long to 26,550, I would think that we basically had a down move here and consolidation, right? A lot of consolidation in here. And when we look at sort of what shifted price, in my opinion, we look at this impulse candle right here. This is sort of where, we were stabbing at the lows. We come up for a bit of a fake out. We don't get any continuation off of this, right? We don't see continuation off of this pump. That's why this is not my impulse. But on this impulse, we actually get continuation. But then what happens? Well, then we actually run liquidity. Okay, so now we've ran liquidity. Wow, I really can't talk today. I'm not sure what it is. So we've ran liquidity, and that impulse move has yet to be retested. So I would look at this and I would say, okay, well, where was basically our resistance before we moved up? We have decent confluence pretty much around this level right here. I would tighten it up to something like this probably. Support, breakdown, resistance. You have resistance here, and then you have liquidity below here. So honestly, anywhere within, I would say, anywhere below here could be liquidity, and anywhere in here could be your resistance before your move upwards. I would say that this blue box right here could be your potential long scenario into 26,550. Okay, my lights just flickered, so let me stop this in case computer crashes or something. I'll restart it. All right, so I think that is a possible scenario. And now on the even lower time frame, and that would be, my sort of, if you're looking for a long, right, and we've talked about this as well, if you're looking for a long and you're just buying breakouts, a lot of the times you're going to get disappointed with the results, okay? There was a lot of people who bought the breakout here and they said, oh, 30K is coming. If you're on crypto Twitter, you saw this. 30K is coming. Okay, now we're going to 30K. Okay, now we're going to 30K. Okay, now we're going to 30K. So you've bought in the breakout 4, maybe even 5 or 6 times, depending on what you did in here. Who knows? People could have bought 4 times in here, right? Look at all these wicks. So you bought the breakout, you bought it again, you bought it again, you bought it again, you bought it again, you bought it again. So you bought in the breakout 6 or 7 times already, and price has yet to go to your destination. So you either have a quite wide stop, meaning you're getting maybe 2 risk reward at best, and you're waiting literally weeks for it to play out while, I don't know, you could be doing a lot of other trades. And, again, you could have more than one trade on at a time, but I personally don't like trades in the background clogging up my focus and my bias. I feel like if you have a trade on in the background and, your bias is to here, well, something may come about and change, like price goes below this low or something, and all of a sudden, you're still, nope, it's still going to here, it's still going to here, it depends on your experience level, right? But a lot of people will get stuck in bias when they have a trade on. I know you've felt this. When you close that trade, or when you close whatever trade you're currently in and you clear your chart, all of a sudden you see something completely new, right? You're in pain, your position's underwater, you market close it out of disgust, and all of a sudden you look at the chart and you go, oh yeah, of course it was going to go up. Why was I short? Of course it was going to go up. So you don't want to let trades linger, in my opinion, if you really are just not built for that type of trading. I know there are people that are built for swing trading. I personally found that I'm not the most built for it. I can allow it, but it's just not where I shine, in my opinion. Okay? So again, moving down, we have potential long in here, moving towards 26,550. And if we're looking on the hourly, we have something from the entry techniques video sort of popping up here, okay? So go back and watch the entry techniques video if you haven't yet after this. So let's mark out this liquidity level right here, okay? Where does this liquidity come from? We can just simply go to a higher time frame, see this high. What's above this high is stop losses and people buying the breakout, as we just discussed, okay? Hopefully this is all coordinating with each other. If you enjoy my education, please go sign up and deposit on Prime XBT. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a liquidity run. And what else do we have that's a part of the criteria? We have a market structure break. Chase, why is that a market structure break? I don't understand. Well, first let's label it. We'll type it out, MSB. Okay, well, we had high, we had low, we had higher high, we had higher low, we had higher high, we had higher low, we had higher high, and boom, right here we break market structure. Okay, so we know that after we take liquidity, once again entry techniques video, after we take liquidity and we break market structure, we're looking for a retrace back to basically the support level that led us up right around here. Posted this on Twitter, 24.5k. And then what are we going to target? Well, typically we're going to target either an SR level, in which we would have an SR here, but this is sort of already pushed into this, so we would most likely target, I'd have to go for liquidity down here. Let's see if there's anything more cleanly on the 4 hour. You do have sort of an impulse here. Let's be honest, right? You guys know how I take profit. Pretend if this did move up to 24.5 and I found a short that I really liked, okay? And I would like also to see how, this sort of liquidity gets ran in here. I'm not sure if I'm putting blind asks here just yet. To be honest, I'm a bit slightly unsure about this because that, the whole view on the whole view of just the higher time frame to me looks like we're continuing to push up to here, but there is good confluence with my idea of pushing down into here, right? So basically the short would lead into the long, and when I see stuff like that, that sort of turns my brain on for confluence, right? So I definitely am watching this trade. I'm not trying to hedge or anything, just, in case it doesn't work out. As you guys know, risk or, reward requires risk, right? You're never going to get free trades. There's always going to be risk. So I could say that I'm somewhat confident in this trade, but I just don't see anything it's just not the perfect setup for me, to be honest. I'm trying to think why, because a lot of the stuff that I do, guys, is very just experience based, right? And it's my eyes, right? I try to tell people this and they don't understand. They're like, what do you mean? How do you see liquidity? How do you see this? How do you know that high? How do you know this high? It's just what I see. I posted this on Twitter, right? I said that this high would be a potential short for ETH. Okay, and it was. It didn't retrace that much. Maybe it still will. But point being is you could have scalped a nice short off of this level, right? You had a little sweep and it went down. I had people telling me that this high is meaningless, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and is it meaningless on the daily chart in the scheme of things? Maybe it is, because we didn't get any type of retracement on the daily chart. So who am I to say, oh yeah, well this was a great level to short? per a daily time frame, I'm actually wrong, right? Because we haven't seen any actual retracement yet. But if you were a low time frame scalper, if you were playing on the 15-minute or the hourly or something, you could have made some bread off of this. Why not? So people are often asking, how do you know these levels? How do you see liquidity? Why do you think this is good? Why do you think this is good? And the honest answer is that I can't always explain it. So it does feel a little bit shitty to say that, but that just is what it is, guys. Okay, so when it comes to this trade, I'm about, I would say, half confidence. I really can't. I can't give it much more than that. Maybe, and you know what? Sometimes you have to break it down, right? Sometimes you have to say, oh well, if I'm half confidence, then I'm gonna do half risk. Okay? You don't always need to put on full size. Sometimes you just need to be in the market, and being in the market gives you a better feel of everything, and also keeps you more active, keeps you on the chart, engaged into trading. And I'm glad that I thought of that, because that is something that I do often. I'll say, you know what, my confidence on this trade is about 70%. I'm going to use 70% of my risk. My confidence on this trade is 50%. I'm going to use half my risk. And that's something that, like I said, keeps you engaged in trading and lets you learn through experience, okay? So I personally don't see this as a highly confident trade, but it is beginning to meet my criteria, okay? Or it sort of has met my criteria. And I would probably just say that this low here should be sort of what holds price, or just this liquidity above here. It's either or, right? It's either pushes into here or maybe it pushes into there. And then we should see a break back down below the market structure, and we go towards probably these lows and then this low here. And that would be a potential short trade. And then on the other side, we have this huge impulse move here, and this would be your potential long area that we talked about before. Okay, so we have a short going into a long. We have our macro, more swing view planned out as to how we could potentially get to 26,550. Okay, and I think that covers most of what we need to cover. We talked about a high time frame ES. I'll be looking more at low time frame ES over the coming days, because once again we saw that impulse move. Now we're interested again. We weren't very interested during consolidation. We don't want to give our money away to chop, and of course there could be good trades in there, but as I'm saying, my sleep schedule hasn't been the best. I wasn't prepared for them, and we did get a lot of chop and consolidation in there. Probably not the best time to trade. Now we see a big impulse. We see some continuation. Eyes back on ES again. As we're looking at BTC, we know what we're looking for on a higher time frame. Our bias is still moving upwards, and we could see a potential retracement back into the 23.3 level. We watched 23.3 for potential long, and for potential shorts, we're watching around the 24.5 area, 24.6 area. Basically this support before we moved up, okay? That's taught in the entry techniques video. A little bit of half confidence on that as we discussed. Anything else to discuss? ETH merge. I honestly don't know much about ETH merge. I don't really care about ETH merge. The only thing I was worried about is what might happen to my stable coins. Apparently my stable coins are fine. That is great. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, a lot of hacks and stuff lately. Yeah, we can talk quickly about like privacy and security and whatnot, and keeping your coins safe and keeping your accounts safe and all that. A lot of hacks and stuff lately. And to be honest, I'm more thankful than ever that I moved away. And I know my name is Crypto Chase, but I'm very happy that I moved away from the hardcore crypto side of things and sort of went into the hardcore trading side of things, because as I've said many times, trading is always going to be here. Even if crypto dies, you can trade other assets, right? You could always trade commodities, you could trade stocks. Always going to be something to trade, but no one knows about what's going to happen to DeFi, what's going to happen to NFTs. The government's cracking down heavy on crypto. There's a hack every single day. Someone's losing $100 million. Like, it's absurd, and honestly, I'm happy I'm not a big part of it. I'm happy that my community is becoming more trading based, and more open to this type of stuff. Maybe one day in the future I change my name to just Chase. I don't know. Maybe that'll be like a 100K thing or something when I hit 100K follows. And appreciate all the new follows, by the way, guys. Account's been growing a lot lately, primarily with the help of some of my really good friends like SC and XO. They really push my content too. Really appreciate those guys, legends, brothers. So yeah, and obviously, guys, you need to keep your crypto. You need to keep your USDC. You need to keep your USDT. You need to keep it on a Trezor, or you need to keep it on a ledger. It's that simple, right? And you need to go into your MetaMask and disconnect any services that you haven't used in a while. There's no need to be connected to these services anymore. Make sure you're on a hardware wallet. When it comes to two-factor authentication and stuff, you shouldn't be using SMS two-factor. You should be either using an offline 2FA device that you strictly have for 2FA, or you should be getting something more advanced like security keys that require touch, basically, to generate your 2FA, or using a 2FA offline device. Okay. Yeah, Trezor, Ledger, Yubico, they make good security keys if you're interested in that, if you want to up your security game on your accounts and whatnot. And especially, with Twitter accounts getting hacked, with all these crypto hack guys, all the crypto hacks and everything, I mean, you can lose years and years of work and effort in a flash. So don't let it happen to you. Make sure your hardware secured. Make sure that you're taking all the steps possible to secure your stuff. Do not use SMS 2FA, and do not, in my opinion, I don't even trust, Google 2FA on like a phone or something. I only use offline devices or hardware security. Okay. So that's just a little, rant at the end there. Hopefully all you guys are enjoying, the education and the content. Like and retweet on the tweet is very helpful. Signups and deposits are very helpful. Keep these videos coming. Thank you very much, and I will catch you guys all next week. Peace out.